Hello people who are watching this video, and today this is how to tell if your friend's depressed. It's sad, but I think it's really important to know if someone, or just someone you know, anybody is depressed, because they need help. If they're depressed, like, they just really need help. Just go to get help. So here's a list of things that the person will do. Or if you notice these things, even if they're not depressed, you should definitely check, ask them, tell them to go to a doctor. Just, yeah. They distance themselves, so if you're in, let's say it's a friend and you're in a friend group and they're usually talkative and stuff, and they just sit there and they don't do anything and they're just kind of observing, or then don't even look like they're observing, they're just distant, like they're looking around and don't know what to do with themselves, yeah, then that's a sign. Obviously, they cry a lot. That's like an obvious one. They'll try their best not to cry in front of you, because obviously nobody wants to cry in front of you because they don't want people to know. So if you just catch them crying, or they just have like watery eyes, like a lot of the time, like they look like they're always about to cry or almost crying, or if they cry like because of little things, like you might like say one thing like, oh, you can't do anything by yourself or something like that, and then it might get them to start crying, or they might just be sat there and just start crying for no reason, because obviously in the head. Next one, it kind of counts with the first one. Oh, distancing themselves as well. That would be like not going out. Like if they usually go out, they won't leave the house. I can tell you right now, they won't leave the house. Doesn't speak as much. Obviously if they sit in a group and they just don't say anything, and if when they do say anything, it's like kind of like, yeah, okay, like they're not really interested because they're too busy thinking. Sudden mood change, like obviously most people will be like, oh, you've got bipolar, but no, when you're depressed you actually do. Like sometimes you may be happy, and then after you're happy you're straight back to being sad again, and it's just, yeah. So if you notice this, or if you notice that they're happy and then they'll just go sad like straight away, that could be a sign. Lack of hygiene, sounds a bit gross, but if they can't be bothered to brush their teeth, like no energy, like they just don't care about themselves anymore, that's a big sign. They don't get in the bath as often, they don't brush their teeth, they don't put on makeup anymore if they used to put makeup, just all these things. I think that's the biggest one, because some people will just label it as, oh, they just can't be bothered, or oh, they're a tramp, but no, that's actually a big sign. Yep, because obviously hygiene is very important, and then they just don't take care of themselves anymore. They don't go out, I already mentioned that, but that is also, but that, some people obviously just don't go out anyway, like I don't really go out, but I'm not depressed right now, so yeah, so that's one. Talks about suicide or jokes about it. If your friend or person you're worried about jokes about suicide and isn't sensitive to the idea of suicide, then that's a sign that they're thinking about it, or they might kill themselves. So like, if they just ask you questions like, oh, what would you do if I was dead? Like, even if it sounds like a joke, you shouldn't like take it lightly. So if they talk about suicide, like, just if it's random, especially, like, then that's a sign. No motivation. So if they say things like, what's the point, or like if they don't do their work in school, and they usually do the work, and then the teacher comes over and they're like, why are you not doing your work? And then they'll think, they're just like, what's the point? That's a big sign. Like, that also that also links in with the lack of hygiene, because there's no motivation to do anything. They don't want to move, they don't want to leave their bed, they don't want to do anything that they have to do, or is very important. They don't want to go to work, they just, yeah. Especially if they say things like, what's the point, or it doesn't even matter, that's a sign. They lose their passion or stop doing things they love, that is a big sign as well. Like, if they're usually sporting and then, like I said, they can't be bothered, they've got no motivation, they just don't care anymore, that is a big sign. Like, even if they've pulled out loads of hair, even if they like usually like clean the house and then they just think, they like saying, oh, I'll just have a day off, like, that's also a sign. So, yeah. And that can also link in with distancing themselves, because maybe they quit a thing because they don't, not even because of lack of motivation, because they don't want to be around people anymore. So yeah, they sleep a lot. Obviously, if you're a teenager, you sleep a lot anyway, but especially if you're adult, I suppose, then that's a big sign, because if they go to sleep from like 10 at night, 11 till night at night till like 2 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon, that's not normal. Oh, they also do that because it lacks them with no motivation. They just don't want to do anything. Like, all they want to do is sleep because they're very sad. They don't want to do anything, and they don't want to be awake because they don't want to feel the sad, so they want to be asleep. So that links in with the suicide thing, because that's why people will kill themselves, because they don't want to feel their sadness anymore. That's why they sleep. So yeah, they want to be alone. That links in with the other things that I've just said. Like, obviously some people just want to be alone because they're just introverts, or they just like to be alone, but especially if they're an extrovert, is that what it's called? Yeah. And then they just suddenly want to be alone. Yeah, that's a big sign. Right. If your friend or person you're worried about does these things, either show them this video and just tell them, like, and if people liked this video, I will do a video on tips on how to be happy, because everybody wants to be happy. If they do the thing if they do these things, either show them this video, or show the parents this video, or just tell them to go to the doctor. Say that if you say that you're not going to tell anyone something, don't tell anyone unless it's something like suicide. Like, if someone is thinking about suicide and they've told you, go to the doctor. You don't have to tell the parents. You don't have to let anybody know that knows them, because they can be embarrassed about it, even though it's completely normal. Well, it's not normal, but it's completely okay to be sad. The best thing to do is to go to the doctor. So if you're watching this and you think you're depressed, just go to the doctor. If you're watching this and you think your friend is depressed, convince them to go to the doctor. So yeah, that is the end of the video. And I also want to say, if you are actually depressed, it will be better, hopefully. I'm not God. Well, God's not real. I'm not going to start. Anyway, yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, subscribe, and yeah, I hope this was helpful. And yeah, I feel like there's something else I should say, but I can't really think. Oh yeah, sometimes when people are depressed, there'll be one thing that'll just make them happy, like whether that's a band or music, or that's all I can think of because it's what I like. So if they have that one thing, let them keep that one thing, even if it's weird. Obviously not if it's like murdering or being a rapist, but if they have that one thing, and it might be a little weird, like if they like to collect spoons, I don't know, don't like put them down for that, because if you take away that one thing that makes them happy, then what are they supposed to do? So yeah, bye.